I'd like to begin the Board of Health meeting for Monday, December 9th, 2019. The first item on our agenda would be to accept the minutes from November 12th, 2019.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from Tuesday, November 12th, 2019.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, the next item on the itinerary is 6 Birch Road, a request dated 11/26/2019 for relief from a local Board of Health regulation, Town Code 350-13, sewer disposal systems on-site properties with reduction in water consumption submitted by Ann Tredick.
That's me, yes.
Could you come to the table and just...
Sure.
Okay, so this is a request for relief from our reduced water use regulation. Situation you have here is a system that was put in January of 2016, and the home's never been occupied, so essentially the system's brand new and it's never been used. But now the certificate of compliance, which is good for 2 years, has expired, and they will need to get a Title V inspection, but there's no water records, which triggers our regulation. So I believe that's what you're requesting, is
That's
to
exactly right,
not
yes.
not to have a waivers because of the fact, yeah.
To allow it to
Simply a
pass.
matter of time that it wavered, the house is new and it's just...
The house is old, the system is new.
Yeah,
Huh?
a house is old, the system is new.
Okay. And what are the health agent's thoughts?
Honestly, if it was 3 years old and it was being used, at minimally, I'd probably be okay with it too. Where it hasn't been used, I don't have an issue with it at all. So, do you have any questions?
Would the waiver indicate when and if it does need a Title V?
It will still need a Title V.
Okay.
It'll still have to be inspected.
Okay.
Just our regulation won't get triggered if we have a waiver from our regulation
Okay.
about the water usage.
So that would allow the inspection to take place normally, and
And
To have a
more than
pass.
likely, it'll pass, and then,
because there is no,
yeah,
absolutely no water
right,
usage, correct?
exactly.
Yeah.
Is there going to be occupancy?
I'm going to put the house on the market. That
Okay.
was the whole intent. That is why I actually did the Title V. I don't live in the house.
Okay.
All right, I purchased it back in 1986. I rented it for a very long time. And then I wanted to sell it. But it needed some things. And one of the things it needed was a septic system, because it had, the old
Cesspools.
cesspool.
I remember the
So I
property.
knew. So I, being a realtor and always giving advice to folks to get the big things out of the way first, decided that I should proceed with getting the septic done. So I fully intended to get the septic done and do a few more repairs in the house and then put it on the market. But then my husband was quite ill and having a lot of issues and needing a lot of attention from me.
Yeah.
And so some time passed by. He passed away in 2017. And then I started doing other things to the house too. And now I really want to put it on the market. That's my situation.
So in the very unlikely event that there was a problem by the buyer, what would happen in a case like that?
For instance,
Or is that
what do you mean a
just-
problem by the buyer, like with the septic?
Problem because we waived this. Is there even a chance that something could go wrong, or no?
Not for the town, no.
No, because Mike Bossy installed the system. George Collins did all the engineering, and I know you're familiar with those names. And Mike Bossy told me this was the only town in the whole Commonwealth that has this requirement that
Actually, Walpole does too.
he wasn't aware
Yeah.
of Walpole, so I stand corrected.
Yeah.
But he said it undoubtedly would pass.
Okay.
It's a brand new system, not used.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will be used soon. So I'd appreciate your consideration.
I don't have any other questions.
Yeah, I don't have any other question. I make a motion to do this correctly. I make a motion to approve the request dated 11/26/2019 for relief from local Board of Health regulation, Town Code 350-13, sewage disposal systems on-site properties with reduction in water consumption.
I second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Will I get something in writing, or
There'll
is it just verbal?
there'll be a document that I sign, and it'll actually say a variance from the said code.
Okay.
And we can get you a copy of it probably by the end of the week, Kit?
You're talking about from a letter,
Yeah.
just saying what exactly, just that the relief was granted?
Yes.
Okay, but I still need to have the inspection done.
Yes.
Okay, that's no problem. Because I was prepared to do that anyway. This kid told me that would be necessary, and then we got Mike Bossy in, and then Mike came up and someone told him, now we have this other issue here. But okay, now we don't. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I appreciate it. Wish you all happy holidays.
Can I ask you guys why it's like very uncommon, but we do it in Easton and Walpole to have it come through the.
There was a couple of instances where
The next one, I'll just give it to
Title V was done, and 90% of the time it'll look as though it passes. And then a new family came into the house, and within like a month or two, back up into the home, or it was breaking out on the lawn.
If you leave a system alone for 30 days, it'll look like it works. So having no stress on a system that's, say it's 30 years old, you open it up, because what you do is you open up the distribution box and you look at the pipes going out. And here's the pipe, you're looking for a water level to be even with the bottom of the pipe. If it's in failure, it might be halfway up the pipe or over the pipe. That shows failure, because it's ponding in the field. You leave it alone long enough, it'll come down to right at the bottom of the invert of the pipe. So you get false passes when, you know what I mean? So, and then it's bubbling out of the ground, now it's a public health risk, and now you're writing order letters to try to get people to fix it, so.
It's a huge
But a
expense for
brand new
the new
system.
people coming in. They weren't anticipating that. In this case, it was never used.
So it's a new system, so
Yeah.
it's a different.
Correct.
The next item on the agenda is a local upgrade approval request, 9 Prospect Street. Request per the letter dated October 16th, 2019, revised November 19th, 2019, and 11/26, 2019, submitted by Collins Civil Engineering Group.
Now, I did receive, and I'm sorry it's not in your packet, I didn't give it to Kit, an email from George Collins requesting that Peter Lyons sit in for him. He is an employee of his, he represents Collins Engineering, so you guys have to make a motion to allow him to sit in.
I'm sorry, what was the name one time?
Peter
Peter
Lyons.
Lyons.
I make a motion to allow Peter Lyons to sit in for Collins Civil Engineering.
Yep. I second. All those in favor? Okay, so is this the same as that?
Yes.
Here's his colors.
Yes, mine is colored, yep. The colors on here, just again for the record, I'm Peter Lyons with Collins Engineering, representing the homeowner for a septic repair at 9 Prospect Street. The colors, the yellow is the property line on my plan, and the site is surrounded by wetlands. The wetlands are indicated by the blue and the green lines. The 50-foot buffer to the wetland is the orange lines here. So that's one big thing we're contending with here, is to keep everything away from the wetlands, but also away from the house and the road. So our design, we're providing a septic tank and a pump chamber to a raised leaching field in the front right corner of the yard. We have some utilities in the front that we're dealing with. There's a pool in the backyard, so kind of limited with space. So we end up in this front corner here. We encountered pretty poor soil, so it is a large footprint for the leaching area. So unfortunately, we're pushed tight to the wetlands. Our first rendition had a larger field, which was even closer to the wetlands. This revision we're requesting a variance to shrink that a little bit.
That's actually an LUA officially, which will be done by Kristen. So
Okay.
these 1 through 4 on your agenda will be done through Kristen.
Okay.
Oh, good,
Local upgrade
okay, 'cause I
approvals.
thought, wow, that's.
Title 5 variances is what the issue is here.
Okay.
Okay, continue, Peter, sorry.
So that's basically what we're contending with. A couple things we're looking for. Because of the poor soils and high groundwater, we couldn't do a perk test. So we're looking to use the sieve analysis results in place of a perk test. Our second local upgrade approval, we're requesting a variance from the minimum 50 feet to the wetlands to 10 feet. And I noticed as I was sitting here, the 10 feet was from our original design.
Yeah, your letter says 19 feet,
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
so that's, it needs to be corrected on the plan. What's our new plan say? I'll tell you in a second, I have a copy of it.
This one still says 10.
It shows 19 feet on the plan.
Yeah,
It's right here.
yeah, so so we show the 19 feet just in the wording of the variance.
It's a typo.
Yeah, it's just a typo. Third, we're requesting a reduction from the required 10 feet to 7 feet between the garage corner and the closest corner of the leaching field. That's due to maintaining the 10-foot separation to the street line and also being pushed in from the wetlands. It's the best we can squeeze everything in, so something's gotta give. The fourth one is, as mentioned, a reduction of the leaching area, which can be granted up to 25%. We're requesting a size reduction of 17.5%, which is essentially eliminating the last 2 rows that had been originally proposed. That gains 8 feet further from the wetlands. It's still very large, sufficiently sized, even with the poor soils. But the reasoning for that is mostly just to get it away from the wetlands. By doing so, we had also eliminated the requirement for a retaining wall. So now it's just gonna slope natural grass. There won't be any walls.
Does it affect neighbors at all, or with that slope, no?
No, this is a wetland over here, so everything's just gonna shed off towards the existing wetland.
Okay.
Okay, so in Title V, if you reduce your setback to the wetlands under 50 feet, you're not allowed to reduce the height, okay? They're asking, under an LUA, under a local upgrade approval, they're asking through a variance to do them both. That would be you. And we have to ask DEP if it's okay, but we need approval from you guys to do both. And reducing it from 5 feet separation to 4 foot separation, which I'm a little confused. What class soil did this come out as, Pete? Class 2? I have class 2. Wouldn't it be a 4 to a 3 foot? Because over here, up top, it says 4 foot to groundwater. Right here, it's showing 4 foot to groundwater. And then we have a class 2 soil, right? Class 2.
And the leaching area.
So that'd be a 4 foot.
So for
Well-
this to be made smaller.
I don't have-
Setback. It sounds like.
In the letter, it requested it.
To be honest, I'm not even super familiar with what they had. I know they got a
Okay.
couple renditions. Yeah, I thought we were gonna forego the vertical.
Okay, if that's the case, if you're not reducing, because in our letter it says, allow local upgrade approval for the setback of the wetland leaching area and reduction concurrently.
Yeah. So
That's where the confusion lies in the letter. That 1119, this is 1121. So, this may have been a revised plan that we're looking at here. So the local upgrade approvals can be done in-house. And I don't think you need a variance from us, to be honest with you.
No?
No, because if they're not doing the separation to the groundwater and the reduction to the wetlands under 50 feet, because they're only at 19, I think we do it all through LUAs. Do you agree, Pete?
I think so. I mean, like you say, it's a class 2. Everything's what is it, less than 75%
Yeah.
sand, so everything's less than 75. We have the 4-foot separation, which
Right.
works.
Well,
I think honestly there might just be two different trains of thought, you know, when they were doing the letter
okay.
in the office.
You wanna contact George?
Yeah,
Is
you
that
wanna step out in the
possible?
hallway, give him a call and,
Yeah, I guess I can.
yeah, and,
That way we don't have to wait.
yeah, come back in.
Yeah, do you guys have something else to attend?
Yeah, we can.
Alright, so we'll wait to hear which George was gonna decide on and we'll. Okay, so while he's doing that, do we wanna,
You could talk about the vaping, the
Yeah.
flavored can.
alright, let's do that, one of the action items, the vaping ban update.
So, unless you were living under a rock, you probably know that Massachusetts went forward with the full vaping ban, and now they're going with a permanent ban on flavored tobaccos, including mint, menthol, and all flavored juices for vaping. So that's the long and short of it. If you had time to read.
I did, yeah.
Okay. Have any questions or?
No, except that, do we know if any other states are doing it? Or are we?
Rhode Island has talked about it, says Kristen, because she lives in Rhode
Nice if
Island.
it started something, because as it is now, people would be able to get it out of state.
Right. Less likely your teenagers though, which is a good thing,
True, so, you
so,
know, except online and stuff.
yeah.
She's in New Hampshire, it's readily available up there.
And I'll tell you that I know someone that is 24 years old that went out and ordered vape products and had them delivered to Massachusetts, and they got blocked. And she was out $150 for vape products because of the ban in Massachusetts.
You mean,
She tried to order them online, and it
really?
didn't, she
I've
cost
heard the exact same thing.
she was out $150 and didn't get her vape product, so.
So basically it'd have to be delivered out of state.
So.
All right, so that's pretty, any questions on the ban, Ariel?
No.
Or comments, no?
No, I'm good with the ban.
Aside from the 75% excise tax on electronic nicotine devices, so those will no longer be cheap, so. All right,
All right, so we'll go back to, and see what George said?
Yes, so we are not requesting a vertical separation reduction.
okay,
We are only requesting the area reduction of 17.5%
okay,
So that's another.
under the local upgrade approval.
yeah, which, that's under an LUA.
Okay.
If you want to approve it, because he's here, as, you know what I mean, it'll still go in front of Kristen.
Okay.
So,
Okay, then, given those constraints, I make a motion to approve, the request for 9 Prospect Street dated, October 16th, 2019, revised November 19th, 2019, and November 26th, 2019, submitted by Collins Civil Engineering Group,
pending Kristen's review.
pending Kristen's review.
Okay.
I second, all those in favor?
Aye.
That way, if for some reason Kristen found something where you needed to come, they've already done it, and we're good to go.
Sure.
All right?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night. So I wasn't sure there if we should have mentioned that it wasn't vertical, but really we don't have to get into all that much.
Okay, that was the original letter,
Okay,
and then
And they
went and
revised
changed-
it.
They revised the plan, and that's,
okay. So, moving forward, the update on nursing.
okay, as you may know, I spoke to Kristen earlier this evening. Maureen Cottarelli is moving on to a full-time position. We will miss her. I've known her
Oh,
like 14 years now, my whole career.
just amazing.
Very happy for her.
She was the former,
She was the part-time Board of Health nurse that we hired on. She had been contracted through a VNA for the
Okay,
town before.
yep. Yep.
And then worked for us for 6 months directly. Kristen stated that we have some, hooks in the water and trying to get someone for a long-term situation and to fill the void. So that's where we're at right now with the VNA,
when's her last day?
December 31st.
All right, thank you. And then we have 3 betterment applications. The first one is on 9 Prospect Street. They're requesting an increase.
Yes, so they were originally approved for 30,000. They need an additional 34,800 to bring the total to $64,800. Now, they will only be taking out a loan for invoiced amounts, so this 1 foot difference might help them in terms of the cost. And I believe the retaining wall, having it slope off, eliminating that, but this still is a very costly septic system due to the constraints, the mound, everything else. So they do need additional funds. There are quotes, I believe you have them in your pocket. They did get them from like 3 different contractors. They are going to go with the least expensive person. None of this is really for show or cosmetics. This is functionality.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I know we've had to give people,
increases for some other people's, yes.
So expensive.
It looks like based on these estimates, they range from 48,000 to 72,000.
There's also engineering for George, which is not in, those are contractors' costs. And I believe I think it's in the email, the lower priced system didn't involve, they missed one part of it. I think it was the wall that she put in the email saying I need to up it. Yeah, typographical error, so, yes. And that was the Bossy quote that was mistyped. So hopefully for them, it'll come out
Less.
less.
In the reduction in the field, now that they pulled it back, they'll be able to slope the land instead of building a wall. If you get rid of a wall, you get rid of cost. It'll still have a wall on the driveway side, but
It'll be 1 foot less of sand too. That's the pricey part with the leaching field, so.
Oh, okay. I don't have any questions.
Great. I make a motion to approve the betterment application for 9 Prospect Street.
It's the increase, we're approving the increase.
Okay.
Yeah, we already approved the original
Okay.
30,000, now you're
Okay.
to approve additional funds.
It's 34,800, correct?
Additional.
I make a motion to approve the increase for the betterment application for 9 Prospect Street from $34,800 to $64,800.
A second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, and the second one is 153 Prospect Street.
Yes, this is another homeowner, failed septic system, failed Title V. They're looking for the standard 30,000 to do their repair on their septic system. So,
What does it say at the bottom, please? Choose a,
oh, that's the $200 application fee to the loan amount. And I have that in an email from her signed.
Okay.
There's a $200 application fee for it.
okay.
You can roll it in or you can pay it outright. So she wants to roll everything together.
So this is allowed to be done.
Correct. Yep.
And it's pretty straightforward. So when to accept it, it's 30,000, not 30,000 to,
It's 30,000 even.
okay.
I make a motion to approve the betterment application for 153 Prospect Street.
A second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then the third one is 117 Turnpike Street.
Yeah, so this is another failed Title V, looking to repair their system. They are too rolling in the application fee. With the 20% contingency, they're looking for the 30,000. Again, hopefully it comes in less, but
Is there any impact with the soil having not been evaluated?
No, not yet. Unless the situation in the soils come back ridiculously bad, then they might have to come back and seek more funds. But most of the people homeowners that are doing this, ask for the 30,000. Hopefully it comes in less. Most of them do. So unless we're in a situation like 9 Prospect, and
I make a motion to approve the betterment application for 117 Turnpike Street.
I second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any reports? Agent reports?
We missed,
Do we miss something?
no, it's not on the agenda anymore, that's right. Virus.
Oh, we took that off,
Yeah,
yeah.
we took it off, so we had our hard frost. And, I wasn't here in November, I didn't know if it was talked about then. I was in Disney, so. No, I mean, it's permit season. Doing permits, wrapping up the food inspections, getting the last couple of them done, so we can start them over again in January. So,
You know, I don't know if this is anything, a Board of Health issue per se, but there was something in the newspaper about, some fines for restaurants serving to people underage.
Oh, yeah, I saw that as well.
yeah, that's through
Is
the
that-
Board of
the
Selectmen.
liquor,
Oh, that's not.
that was
okay.
liquor, yeah, so that's the selectman's office
I understand.
downstairs.
All right.
So, that's what we got going on, yeah.
Okay, so I make a motion to close the meeting Monday, December 9th, 2019 at 6:27 PM.
Seconded?
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. We're all set.